So, hello everyone, and welcome to CIPR Volunteer Induction, and happy New Year. I hope you've all received your welcome email from the team. If not, give us a shout and we can make sure that you receive that shortly. So, over a few things. We just want to say thank you for volunteering, because obviously we couldn't do what we do without you. Make such a great contribution, and we really value what we do. We've just got 20 minutes of you today, so we're going to get in, and so you can go back to your day job. So in order to keep your schedule, we'll keep questions until the end, until we have a little time, and hopefully we'll have a little time for these, but feel free to use the chat to pop any questions in, and myself and Hayley will try and get back to you during the presentation or at the end. We will be recording the meeting so we can share at a later date, and so please don't make use of any AI recording notes. I'm going to now hand over to Vita, who is our president for 2025, and she has been a CIPR volunteer for quite a few years, and she's previously chaired the CIPR Inside Group. I'm just going to try and share my screen. Right, I should have done this before. Can you all see that now? Yeah. So this is just for our this afternoon, should I say. So now I'm going to hand it over to Vita to give you a little bit of introduction.
Welcome, everyone. Like I said, thank you so much for coming along today. It's so brilliant to see so many of you tuning into this. And as Maha said, we are so grateful for all the volunteers. The CIPR wouldn't run without its volunteers. And as Maha said, I've been a volunteer for 14 years, actually, for CIPR. I started off with the group CIPR Inside, which is the Internal Communications Committee, and I was on that committee for a long time before I stepped into board, and now here I am doing the presidency stuff. So who knew all those years ago that I would be doing this? So for me, for my year, there's a focus on 4 key areas. But first, before I get into that, I wanted to talk about the strategy, the CIPR 2025 to 2029 strategy. Some of you will see this in the coming weeks, because we're going to be doing some promotion around it, so our members are aware of what it is. But it's really important that the volunteers know what our focus is going to be on over the next 5 years, to make sure that we're aligned with the work that we're doing in the committees and for our members, and to make sure that we have some focus in our deliverables so our members get the best experience as possible. So your committee chairs have had this information for a while, so they'll be hopefully creating their own plans and tactics and strategies around these 4 key areas. And when I chair group chairs, we'll be using this as a bit of a tracker to make sure that we're aligning our key messages to these 4 key areas. So the 4 key areas are chartership and lifelong learning, which hopefully isn't a surprise to anybody. We're the only public relations in membership that can offer chartership. It's a key part of our offer. It's a unique selling point as well for what we do. It's seen as one of the most credible qualifications. However, we still have a lot of work to do in the chartership space to make sure that folks have access to it, recognise the importance of it, can invest in it in the right way without any barriers getting in the way, and understand what potential it has for them and their career. So not only do we have to do a little bit of work with our membership to incite them into looking into what chartership means for them, but also with the businesses that we support and work with as well. There's a lot of work to do with the businesses to get them to recognise chartership as an important qualification and show the robustness of what this means as well for them. So the focus will be on celebrating and recognising chartership for those who go through it, demystifying what chartership actually means, also working with businesses, sorry, and institutions that support businesses to show them what chartership can do and what it can bring and why we are focusing some energy on that. Alongside that lifelong learning, continuing professional development is a key part of being a member at CIPR, and we have lots and lots of resources available for individuals to make sure that they can keep enhancing their career. But we need to be aware of what the future holds for PR and communications and what does that look like, and make sure that we have information, training, and workshops and things that are adding value and giving you the support that you need as members and as volunteers to do your job well. When you're supporting your clients and your organizations as well. And that leads into this leading practice development and making sure that we're always ahead of that curve. We're always making sure that we're bringing training that is needed before people need it, and staying ahead of all of the kind of needs of our practitioners, professionals, and consultants and in-house professionals as well. Again, hopefully not a surprise that fostering a diverse and collaborative community is a key part of our strategy. We're the first membership to receive the National Equity Standards. We've got a whole committee dedicated to make sure that we're delivering against those standards and we're consistent with what we're saying and doing. Building an inclusive, diverse membership and making sure that anyone from any background feels included in the profession is critical for our success. And there's lots of noise and very strong headlines out there right now that you would have seen saying from quite big organizations like Meta and Amazon and so what, saying that they're pulling back from their diversity efforts and are focusing more on fairness, which is ironic, really. We know, and from the research that we've done, that having a more diverse and inclusive organization can only help enhance business and help enhance the offering that we give to our customers and clients. And it's a key focus for CIPR to make sure that we are creating spaces and cultivating cultures that can allow people to be the best that they can possibly be in that profession without feeling excluded. So having that sense of belonging so you don't feel detached or disconnected from training and development, because it's only fair that everyone has equitable and equal access to what we're offering. So that's going to be a big part of the work we do. When we've got EDI champions in each of our committees, we're doing lots of work with the D&I network, which is chaired by Avril Lee. They've got some fantastic resources and support out there. We've got online demand platform, which has EDI training on there that's offered to all our members as well for a short bite-sized training. And we're going to keep building on this. So if there's anything that you feel we could be better at in terms of inclusivity, then please let me know, because it is an important part of my ambitions as well for the year. And then the final one is, and one of the most important ones I say, is making the case for PR in business. You know, for the years I've worked in PR and communications, there's always been this apprehension from a lot of businesses in terms of how they look at PR and communications as a strategic business need rather than nice to have. And we know that having an integrated communications and PR team can really help support businesses from all different disciplines, from crisis to public relations to public affairs to internal communications. And we need to be better at working with businesses in helping them recognize the importance of the work that we bring to them. So there'll be lots of business related things that we're doing to help bring in some of those voices, so to make sure that we're aligning what's needed from a business perspective and making sure that our members have the access they need to work with their leaders to deliver what they require to help be that strategic voice and that trusted advisor that many businesses are craving for, but may not recognize the importance of as well. There'll be more details about each of these objectives being shared in the coming weeks, so look out for that. But we hope and we'll ask our committees and chairs to work towards these objectives to help us deliver against them as well. Any questions on the strategy, on the 4 key priorities? Let's see if there's anything in the chat. People can unmute, can't they, Maha? I just want to double check. Yeah, okay, great. Let's see. 5-year strategy, yeah, it's a 5-year one. Sorry if I made a mistake. I did say 5. Did I say 5 years? It's been a long Tuesday already. 5 years. It's a 5-year strategy. Um, when will you now? It's going to replace it from now. So this is it's kicking off. So the team are working on getting the communications out about it. All the group chairs have had it. They had it before Christmas. So they're aware of it. We'll be sharing it with our members in the next couple of weeks. And the board meeting that we are having in a couple of weeks will be working towards this strategy as well. When will the slide decks be shared? This slide deck, Stuart, I'm assuming you're asking for. Can we share it, Maha, Haley? I'm sure it's okay. Yeah, immediately, probably after this call. They'll send it out, Stuart. Providing training for people before they even know they need it, etc. Yeah, thanks, Claire. It's so important, and it's such a big part of what we are doing now in terms of what's required from the public relations and communication professionals in businesses, especially with everything that's going on around AI, technology, climate, ESG, all of that kind of stuff. So it's really important that we are contributing in the way that our businesses will see value and give confidence, more importantly, to our professionals and members to make sure that they can go out there and work with their leadership team, knowing that they got the membership behind them. Oh, what is the key differences between this strategy and the last one? That's a really good question, Alison. I top of my head, I can't tell you. So sorry. But I will look back at that and come back to you on what the key differences are. But Mahad, Haley, do you know what the big differences are? I wasn't involved in the first one, and I should really pay attention. We'll come back to you, Alison.
Sorry, yes, I think we've just we were more focused rather than it was what before it was quite wide. So now we've just kind of narrowed our focus just on chartership and development really, and obviously being more diverse. So that's kind of going to be embedded in all areas of our business and how we move forward.
And I think, I mean, that just demonstrates, doesn't it, in terms of how well that last strategy was embedded across the membership when even I, someone who's been a volunteer 14 years kind of struggle to figure out what the differences were. And that, again, shows that we have to be so focused on what we're trying to do and try not to lose our momentum on delivering against these 4 kind of key objectives. And I want to make sure that we talk about it, we recognize it, we celebrate it, we put it in our comms, we align our deliverables against it. I'll be talking about these 4 key areas in all our group chair meetings and council meetings. We're aligning it to our board meetings. So it's completely integrated in everything that we're doing. And it's just not 4 lines on a page that we then look at maybe in a few years' time. And we know this from the businesses that we support, that sometimes we can come out with these strategic objectives and then we kind of don't always focus on what we need to be doing. But like we said, we have narrowed focus down, as Maha said, made it really clean, hopefully memorable as well. So it's easy to remember what the 4 key areas are and tactical as well, so we can show the progress we're making against each one and we'll be feeding back on how we're getting along against each of those objectives as well. And I'm really keen to make sure that we do that over the next few years so you can see what progress we're making.
May I just ask, are we still referencing this as the 4 pillars?
4 key priorities, yes. As far as I'm aware, Alison, yeah.
Thank you.
How we are measuring against the strategy success. Great question, Sarah. We're going to be putting some strategic deliverables against it, so tactical deliverables and strategic deliverables. So you'll be able to measure. So data capturing and making sure that we are demonstrating the progress against each one is critical. And Miriam Miller, who is the independent chair for the board, is also keen that we have some key measures against these key priorities. So you and members can see how we're getting along against them as well. And we'll share that with group chair so they can share it with the committee members as well. So you can see how we're getting on and where our focus areas needs to be. But we'll be communicating that again in the next few weeks about what those measures look like against some of these priorities. Rachel saying benefits of CIPR after the response. So yes, those are people in chartership, phased approach that makes people feel they belong. Yes, completely agree. One of the things about chartership, and I've spoken to some of the assessors about this, is demystifying what it is and how it can help. I think when I've spoken to some members who are not involved in terms of volunteering, but are members, there's a little bit of fear around chartership. And a fear not in a good way either. It's a bit like, I don't think I'm ready for it. I don't know quite what it'll offer me. I don't know if it's worth the investment. So it's about making sure that we're being quite transparent and open and explain what chartership can bring and what's involved and why it's important. And we do that well to an extent, but I think it can be a bit echo chambery sometimes. And it may be a little bit of an information bubble. So we need to think of like, what is the average member who isn't a volunteer or isn't involved in any of the activities that we might be doing, understand what chartership means for them as well. So great point there, Rachel.
Just because I'm just conscious of time, we've only got 30 minutes. We're happy to stay on the call, but should we can pick up some of these questions at the end, or the volunteer team can respond, or if there's anything urgent that you want to pick up now, Davita, that's fine.
I think what I'd like to say is that if there's any thoughts or ideas that you might have as volunteers, because you're the most engaged members we have, because you're committing time to the institution, I would love to hear from you. And I've seen some comments kind of popping in, and like Kamal has said, I haven't had time to read through them all. But if you think that actually I'd like to see this, or we should be doing this a little bit more, or I've witnessed this, or this is what I've heard, then please drop me an email at the president email address, which Hayley and Maha will share after this call, and get your thoughts out there, because it's really important that we're doing and delivering against the right things that our members want, not what we think they want as well. And you folks are the closest to that. So please do share where you think we need to kind of maybe switch things around a little bit, or be a little bit clearer on what we're doing and what we're offering as well. So Maha and Hayley will share those details with you, and just drop me a note. And in terms of my key areas, again, aligned with these 4 key priorities, it is about number 1 for me is membership experience. One of the things that I believe is lacking is helping people recognize about their journey when they join the membership. So what does that look like for them based on where they are in their career? And right now, when you join the membership, if you're connected in terms of volunteering, or you're connected in some of the committees or whatever, you might understand from the conversations that you're having about what direction you might need to go in. If you're just join the membership, it's a divulge of information that can be a little bit overwhelming. So I've been speaking to Sarah Ion, who's the Director of Marketing for CIPR, about how can we streamline the offer that we give to our members, so it's quite clear, depending on where you are in your career, to know what pathway you might want to take. So a bit like a roadmap. So if you're 1 to 3 years, what does that look like? If you're 4 to 7 years, what does that look like? If you're 15 years plus, how might the membership help you, and what does that look like as well? And be quite clear with our offer, so people can feel confident and comfortable about the direction that they're going in, rather than kind of knee-jerk reaction or comparison, or you might hear it from a friend of yours about what they've done and you might do it as well. So membership experience. So again, I'd love to hear from some of you about what's working really well that you'd like to kind of maintain, and what you think we could be better at. Friction-free learning again. So it's really important for me that we have learning that's accessible, affordable, and is available as easy as it possibly can be for all areas of our training that we give, which is why the on-demand learning platform, it is an important platform from my perspective anyway, because it gives you access to training in bite-sized chunks that is affordable and accessible. And I want us to kind of enhance this offering a little bit more. I also want us to look at the training that we do share and give out there, to make sure that it is accessible for folks and affordable, most importantly as well. So I want to make sure that we do, as part of that membership experience, what is it that we're giving our members to allow them to thrive in their role and in their career as well. An inclusive membership, again, I won't go on about this, but it's important to me that everybody feels included in the work that we're doing, whether they go to an event, whether they come on an online webinar, whether they are doing training. It's accessible, it's inclusive, and they feel connected to our work. And chartership focus, it's an important focus of mine. I think it's a unique offering we have. We should be celebrating this and recognizing it a bit more. and we need to understand what this means. And to Rachel's point before about that lifelong learning, like how we can enhance that lifelong learning and why you may want to invest in that as well. And most importantly, as well as alongside these 4 priorities, I want to bring in some energy and a bit of joy. We've had a very turbulent 5 years as a profession. It's been tough, it's been hard, it's exhausting. The economy isn't where it wants to be. People are struggling work-wise as well. And I want the membership to be a space where people can come in, feel connected, feel safe, get a bit of energy, fill their cup up, and go back out there and feel confident about whatever direction they're going in. So I want to bring in more two-way engagement, some collaboration. So one of the things you may have heard about, you might have seen on LinkedIn, I'm doing a LinkedIn live stream. So rather than doing a president's update, which is often just a one-way video or a written document, I'm going to be doing like a 30-minute show on LinkedIn, and it'll go live on YouTube and Instagram as well. We'll be inviting guests and we'll be having conversations. There'll be questions from members. There'll be some interaction, and we can have a little bit more of a conversation that's two-way rather than it just being all one way as well. So any other suggestion that you think we should be doing to bring that energy back and some joy back, then please let me know. It's so important that we have this to make sure that our members feel supported and included in some of the work that we're doing as well. Thank you. We've got 8 minutes now for Hayley and Maha to go through their volunteer resources. But I'll look, if you can save these comments for me, Hayley and Maha, if that's okay, and then I'll come back to everybody as well, the ones I didn't get back to. But I'm always available on LinkedIn if you want to kind of DM me. If you're not connected with me, please do. But again, Hayley and Maha will share my email address, which is a CIPR one. So feel free to use that and share your thoughts and ideas and stuff with me as well. But I want us to have a very open, transparent conversation, and I don't want anyone to think that they can't say anything or speak up as well. Thank you, everyone, for your time. I'll hand over to Hayley.
Thank you. If Maha will move on with the slides, because Zoom doesn't like me and doesn't like me doing slides as well as looking at my notes, that would be really helpful. I'm going to really quickly just run through some of the volunteer resource bit now that Advita has welcomed you so enthusiastically and basically set the tone for what we try to do within the volunteer team, which is make engaging with your sort of peer network a good thing to do, a fun thing to do. I know that lots of people have it as part of their career development, but lots of people are also doing it to give back to the community. So we're really grateful for everything that everybody does. And we've kind of developed the volunteer support system over the last couple of years in order to try and support you a bit better than maybe we have in the past. That's not on my script to say. I just wanted to kind of segue from what Advita was saying into my really boring and dry bit of the session. Maha, if you would mind, thank you very much. So in previous years, this session has included a really big chunk where we've walked through the volunteer hub, focusing on the areas which house our volunteer policy and the One Team Working Agreement, which in other organisations is just known as the volunteer agreement. We call it the One Team Working document because it's about staff and volunteers and how we all work together. This year is slightly different due to the launch of the new volunteer induction, which is the set of 5 short online modules, which should take in total around an hour for you to complete. So Maha has very handily shared the online induction slide now, which will give you a little view of what the induction looks like. It sits on the CIPR's on-demand learning platform, which Advita already mentioned. You can access that from your CIPR account, and it's compulsory for all group and network volunteers to complete the induction starting from the 1st of January this year. It provides essential introduction to volunteering with the CIPR and will be the foundation for whatever individual arrangements you have with your committees. We know that each committee works slightly differently according to the work that it undertakes. It also provides existing volunteers who've been around for a while with the opportunity to catch up on the changes that we've made over the last year or so to our ways of working. Completion of the induction provides you with 5 of the 20 CPD points that are available to everybody for committee participation for the year. We have already registered everybody, so hopefully you will have received an email either in your inbox or it's in your spam folder from the 20th of December. If you don't have it, please do get in touch with us at the volunteersupport@cipr.co.uk email address that we'll share with you again following this session, and we'll make sure that you are registered. We would love for everybody to aim to complete this before the end of January so that it supports you in your activities from the outset of the year. But the modules will remain open a bit longer, and you'll probably receive reminder emails from the on-demand learning platform saying you've got 6 months or so. But it would be really helpful if you tried to do it at the beginning of the year. Can we move to the next slide, please, Maha? Volunteer Hub, there we go. So moving on, the screenshot here is from the Volunteer Hub, which is the home of our volunteer resources. If you haven't seen already, we recommend bookmarking the Volunteer Hub page. You won't be able to find it on the public website because it's only visible to active volunteers. So we'll send a link to this so you can bookmark it, but you can also access this within your My CIPR account when you're logged in as well. It houses all of the tools and the guidance that you need to carry out your committee activities. So those of you who've been volunteers for more than a few years or who are maybe returning after a break will know that we used to provide group chairs with an annual handbook in a PDF format, and then the chairs would need to disseminate the information as needed amongst the team, which meant that the chairs were basically a funnel for lots and lots of information, and all the volunteers wouldn't have direct access to this stuff. So the move to the online resource hub happened 2 years ago. It enables to give everybody direct access and update the information continually as and when we need to, so nothing's ever out of date. As I said, everybody that is registered as an active volunteer can access the volunteer resources, so it will be the Volunteer Hub and the induction on the on-demand learning platform. And you can find this within your MyCIPR account. I'm just trying to skip through a bit of this information because I think that some of you have already done the induction, so you would have already clicked into some of these blocks within the Volunteer Hub. But essentially, to summarise it, when you have a moment, if you have a click through those blocks, you'll find all of the practical tools for things like running your group events, sending your group emails, managing your group social media accounts. So there are our sort of design templates in there and our like logo guidance and things like that. So if you have any questions when you do go through the hub, you can email us at the volunteersupport@cipr.co.uk address, and that is manned by me, by Paul, who's the team administrator who couldn't be with us today, and Maha and Claire. So the four of us make up the volunteer support team, and one of us should always be able to answer a question. So there are about 400 volunteers registered, so we are kind of here to be your direct contacts at CIPR, and it can be anything practical to do with how to access stuff, how to send the group emails and things like that, or you can just get in touch with ideas as well about what you think the groups and networks could be doing, how to kind of liaise with other areas of the business and that kind of stuff. I've rattled through all of that dry stuff now, but hopefully you get the gist that we're here to support you. Advita obviously is there with all of her big ideas and her connection to the board and representing you at the senior level. And then we're here in the volunteer team as well, helping you with all the practical day-to-day stuff. And from our part at the office, I just want to say thank you for coming today and thank you for volunteering. Back to you, Maha.
Hayley. Thanks, Advita. I know we only said half an hour, but if Advita's happy to stay on for maybe 5-10 minutes, if you're not pushed for time, or you could.
Yeah, I have to jet off sadly to another call, but like I said, if anybody wants to send me any thoughts, ideas based on what Hayley and Maha shared and what I shared, if there's anything that you hear outside of this kind of conversation or in the membership, please get in touch with us and let us know. It's so important that we're hearing the voices of our members as well, as much as we possibly can do. I want to make sure that our line of communication is as open as it possibly can be. And I'll be popping along and coming along to some of your group meetings and committee meetings as well. So hopefully we'll have a little bit more time together to talk about certain things and regional offers and stuff like that as well. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for giving up half an hour of your time to come along to this session. And thanks to Hayley and Maha as well for giving such a comprehensive update on training and induction and things like that. So thank you, everybody, and I will see you very soon.
Thanks, Advita. Hopefully we'll see you at the next group chairs meeting if you can make it. Hayley and myself are happy to stay on to answer any questions that you may have, because we understand it's been a very quick call. So it could be about the the welcome email, the induction that hopefully you've all received a link to, just any general questions to do with volunteering. And I know we do have some experienced volunteers on the line, so hopefully you guys can jump in and support the newer volunteers. If there's anything that you guys want to ask, it's just an open conversation, dialogue, or you can all go home and enjoy, or you're already at home, enjoy your lunch. So it's entirely up to you. No questions? Everyone seems to be.
Good try, Maha. Nobody's unmuting. Everybody wants to have their coffee. Oh, Alison.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Alison's
Could
got
I
a
just ask you a
question.
question regarding chartership, please?
Sure. Go ahead.
Could you just put me in the right direction of who would be the best person to speak to in relation to the buddy scheme? It's just that we're looking in the Midlands to do a session in February to encourage people towards chartership, but it'd be really nice to kind of get some stats from that kind of support mechanism.
Yep, so it'd be our membership team. So you can email membership@cipr.co.uk. But Graham Kench is the head of membership and qualifications, and it's just Graham K at CIPR. So it's always our first name and our initial. He should be able to help you with that inquiry. Or if you want to email the volunteer team, and then we can forward that redirect your inquiry.
All right, that's brilliant. Thank you.
That's all right. Are there any more questions? No. Well, we just want to say thank you very much. There's not many left on the call, but thank you for joining us. And if there's anything that you think of, please get in touch with the team here at the volunteer team. We're happy to pick up inquiries. We all four of us, as Hayley said, man the inbox, so you'll hear back from one of us. But generally, it is Hayley and Paul. Thank you so much. And also, as our induction is a new thing that we've introduced this year, it's really great to hear your feedback, what you thought of it, and hopefully we can make some hopefully small amendments for next year. But we hope you've enjoyed it and find it quite useful and helpful to you in your role this year. If there's no more, I'll end the call.
Thank you very much,
Kelly
Maha.
just hands up. Okay, thanks everyone. Speak soon.
Bye.
Bye.